Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of the Men of Steel podcast where we talk about Superman and Superman adjacent topics. If you enjoy this clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your shows.
Before we move away from the stuff that's kind of just referencing, I did put a song on here that I knew I would get the exact reaction out of Case that I did. So the song Superman by Laszlo Bane, which most people would know as the Scrubs theme, like I actually accidentally discovered Laszlo Bane before I ever watched Scrubs. It was very close, but and Scrubs is one of my favorite TV shows. Sometime if you ever meet me in person after listening to this, ask me about my Donald Faison Zach Braff story. It's good and it's awfully embarrassing for me, but it's a good story. I won't get into it now.
Story,
I do. But this song is very much referential. It's about someone wishing they could be I'm no Superman. I can't be this super person. And the show Scrubs dealt with a lot of superhero complexes. I mean, think about Dr. Cox as a character is very much like Superman, very intimidating but powerful on the outside, but wants to help, but is actually hurting on the inside and struggling, which Superman of course does in his later years especially. I love that kind of dichotomy with that song specifically. And also it's just a catchy tune. Beyond just what's played in Scrubs, it's actually just a fun little kind of plucky.
Yeah, it's a fun little ditty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of the artist when I was thinking about songs, but I knew the Scrubs theme song was called Superman because that's the big lyric at the end.
Yeah.
But that was a nice one just because it was the theme song for a really popular show and had, I think does a really good job of conveying the sort of burden that we talk about with the character.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that was brought up just because it's that was Scrubs back in the day was a show that was such a great entry point for a lot of music. This, I mean, I guess TV in general in the early 2000s, there were just a lot of shows that were we're gonna have a good soundtrack and that'll be a thing for marketing, pre iTunes domination of music. Napster existed, the internet existed, but the internet hadn't taken over the music industry yet. You've got Scrubs, you've got the OC, all even Smallville.
Smallville used to do it at the end of every episode. There was a little ballad they play. For a sad
and things before that, Dawson's Creek, I think teen shows in general had gotten really good about licensing up and coming songs and doing a really good job with it. It's now becoming an issue with streaming where they can't get the rights to those songs anymore.
Watching Scrubs on streaming has been horrible. I started rewatching Scrubs because the aforementioned Zach Braff and Donald Faison during the pandemic started a Scrubs rewatch podcast as the two leads of Scrubs. And I have some of the DVDs, but I didn't know where they were. This was after my apartment fire, so I was displaced. And so everything was in boxes. So I started watching it on Hulu, and Hulu and streaming doesn't get the rights to all the songs. They have some, but others, they just filled in with other stuff. And Bill Lawrence handpicked a lot of those tracks. The cast handpicked a lot of those tracks. So replacing them with anything just doesn't feel right. I also Yeah, it sucks.
Wrong.
It bums me out, especially considering I love the show so much. But I do want to mention before we move off of Scrubs also, that show also had, I think, more than one specific Superman references. There's definitely the classic, Superman behind the glass window with light shining, showing his silhouette thing with Dr. Cox when JD refers to him as his hero. They've definitely, it's the reason that song is so important to me to talk about here is because not just the song referenced Superman, but the show often referenced pop culture and specifically Superman as well.
Remember, if you like the clip, after you're done liking and subscribing, check out certainpov.com where you can find more episodes of the show as well as a ton of other great shows.